Hello, friends at Soul School Tarot and Astrology. This is Molly, and you guys, I am so late with this episode here. Your August 18th new moon in Leo AstroForecast. You guys, I am so sorry. My intention was to get this out to you like 4 or 5 days ago. I usually try to get these out to you ahead of time, especially if you guys are doing any like moon magic or manifesting when you're coming up on a new moon. It's just really kind of good to know how to prepare for the energy that is coming in with the new moon. And what happened was I went to the river and I sat down and I did a wonderful outdoor astro forecast for you, and I hated the video. So I deleted it, and in my mind, I just kind of was somehow thought I was done with it, and I was not. So here I am. It is the day of the new moon in Leo. It is August 18th. Tomorrow, on the 19th, we have Mercury moving into Virgo. On the 22nd, the sun is also going to be moving into Virgo. So this is definitely the tail end of Leo season. In fact, if you will remember, our last two new moons were both in the sign of Cancer. The first one was on the cusp of Gemini, the second on the cusp of Leo. So about a month ago, we did have a new moon that brought in a little bit of this Leo energy, but today's new moon is a drastically needed burst of Leo energy. So let me talk about why that is so. And then we'll talk about the other stuff that we've got coming up over the course of the next 2 weeks. And there's actually some pretty significant movements going on right now. So thank you guys so much for being here and for staying tuned. I do want to give you guys a quick reminder that if you are interested in booking a personal tarot or astrology reading with me, maybe a combination of both, there are actually so many options. You can do that over my website. You can go to soulschooltarotandastrology.com or shorten that up with soulschooltanda.com. Both of those links, one of those links will be down in the description box. So please do check that out. Also know that in September, I am launching a Patreon course, Tarot 101. It's a 4-month course. You guys can drop in or out whenever you want. And there are 3 different tiers available, depending on how much you can afford or how involved with that process you want to get. I do also want to let my fellow astro nerds out there know that I wanted to launch an Astrology 101 course this fall as well. And my guides are asking me to just kind of spend the rest of this year revisiting my study of astrology, because it's been a while since I've dug into that pretty deeply. So if you guys are into it, definitely stay tuned and know that I'm just really excited to be launching some new endeavors. So thank you guys for being here. This new moon in Leo is really magical because of the way that it is helping out 2 other energies that we have present in the sky right now. One of those energies is Mars. And in my full moon in Aquarius astro forecast that I put out at the beginning of August, I talked about the fact that Mars was going to be really, really, really kind of going against the grain this month. So anywhere that you've got drive, that you've got passion, that you want to assert yourself in the world, that you're trying to go for it, it almost feels as if either society or just the way that things have been for a long time, maybe the old patterns that we've learned, all those things are kind of trying to hold us back, right? That's this energy that Mars has been experiencing as it has been squaring off with Jupiter, Saturn, and Pluto throughout the month of August. It's getting a fun little boost of energy from the sun in Leo and the moon in Leo today with this new moon, because they're both taking place at the 26th degree. So Mars is at the 26th degree of Aries, which is a fire sign. The sun and the moon are at the 26th degree of Leo. That's another fire sign. So I got to thinking, well, what the heck's going on around the 26th degree of that other fire sign, Sagittarius? And you guys would not guess, it's actually kind of a big deal. These are two less commonly known features in astrology, so I will explain them. But it turns out that at the time of this new moon, what we've got going on in the 26th degree of Sagittarius is a conjunction between two important points. They're not astrological bodies, they're just important points in the chart. One is the South Node, and the other is the galactic center. So the way that I am describing this meetup of energies is the South Node represents our karmic past. That which we have already been through, the lessons that we have learned, dharma, if you will. Okay, what have we mastered? What knowledge or wisdom have we gained that we're ready to take and move forward with? And this, the shift of the South Node being in Sagittarius, that actually began back on May 5th. There was a shift. The South Node had previously been in Capricorn. Ooh, and that was such a good time to start thinking about some of the ways that the long-standing institutions, habits, patterns, structures in our society were not serving us. And didn't we start to do that? Didn't we start to look with our North Node in Cancer a little bit about how we could nurture ourselves a little bit better and nurture one another a little bit better in society? Well, now we've got that South Node in Sagittarius. So we have to look at the ways in which our past belief systems and the way that we approach our belief systems, how has that maybe not served us? Or maybe how it has. With the South Node in Sagittarius, of course, that does put our North Node in Gemini. And I just want to comment to you guys that the message that's coming through with this is that as we are questioning the philosophies, the belief systems that essentially got us here as individuals and as a society. And I am, of course, in the United States of America, so you know we are reckoning with this right now as a collective. Begin to think about how our belief systems and the way that we handle our belief systems has gotten us to where we are now. That's the part of our karmic past that we need to look at. Where our North Node is, our North Node represents, it's our North Star. Where are we headed? What is our karmic future? That's in Gemini, which means that our future is about communication. It's about finding the commonalities in what we believe in, rather than always finding the differences and the polarities and all of the reasons why your viewpoint and my viewpoint are not the same. Because I tell you what, almost everybody I know is a pacifist. They want world peace. They want what's in the best interest for the American people. But almost everybody I know has a different way of going about that. So all I'm saying is that I think with this South Node in Sagittarius, by the way, conjunct the galactic center. The galactic center represents cosmic truths, right? So the bigger picture truth of who we are as individuals and as a collective and how we have allowed our belief systems to function in our life, that is what needs to be reckoned with right now. All right. I actually downloaded a message from Spirit a while ago about just everything that's going on in our country right now. And the message is very simple, that orthodoxy is the enemy. And orthodoxy is the idea that any one belief system is the only belief system. And I'm not just talking about religion. I'm also talking about politics, right? So what I'm saying is, if you believe that Black Lives Matter and you know that your friends believe that Black Lives Matter, do you really want to cut somebody off because they're dealing with coronavirus a little differently than you? And I'm not saying don't distance yourself from people who are not handling that in an intelligent way. But the point that I'm making is I see this every day, like on social media. People saying, if you don't do it this way, just unfriend me. And I'm like, yo, look at all the other things that you guys have in common, all the other battles in which you are allies. But so many people are saying, nope, there's this one battle in which I perceive us as enemies, and therefore I will declare you the enemy in all of the battles that I'm fighting right now. And I kind of feel like the Galactic Center wants us to question that approach. Wants us to look at what's going on in the North Node, because that does mean if the Galactic Center, by the way, if you don't know, the North Node and the South Node are always 180 degrees away from each other. They're in the exact opposite parts of the sky. So that means the Galactic Center is currently in opposition to our North Node in Gemini. So it is challenging us to learn how to communicate, just how to try to understand one another's ideas. Because Gemini is the sign of the peer. Is the sign of somebody that you're willing to look at as an equal to you. And Gemini is all about communication and building community and sharing their ideas and brainstorming and coming up with amazing creative solutions to the problems that we've got. So if you are holding particularly dogmatic views about anything right now, understand that that is eliminating potential allies. And I think that that's a larger truth that really, that kind of strategic thinking right now is something that the sky really wants us to pay attention to. And the reason I say that is because we also, with all this stuff going on, we also have Uranus has gone retrograde from August 15th until the 1st of January 2021. So you know, very first day of the year, Uranus will go direct, and we're going to start off with a bang. So before we get there, let's talk about what it means that Uranus is going to be retrograde for the rest of 2020. I've been referring to Uranus as the planet of the revolution, and with it in Taurus, and especially retrograde in Taurus, Uranus is the stubborn revolutionary. Taurus, why can't I say this? Taurus is all about security. Taurus loves stability and security. And I think that the general atmosphere is that we know that we need change in order to move towards a society that is more stable and secure for all of us. But what's difficult is we don't want to give up the security that we perceive that we have right now. So, as Uranus turns retrograde throughout Taurus, the questions to be asked are, how have our past efforts at liberation or revolution been limited? And I honestly mean, how has it been limited to only the certain part of the population that already kind of has nothing to lose? That's just something I want to draw some attention to here intuitively. Another way that it may have been limited is looking at our resources. I'll tell you what, if you know what's been happening in Portland, and if you don't know what's been happening in Portland, talk to somebody on TikTok. I'm serious. There is current events taking place in this country that is not being reported about on the general media. And I think the algorithms on Facebook are trying to shut it down as well. So I'm putting on my tinfoil hat just long enough to say there's more going on out there than we all know. All right? But if you know what happened, you guys, the most amazing TikTok I've ever seen, and yes, I'm 40 years old, I'm on TikTok. I used to think it was all about dancing too. Was this video of, if you heard about the Portland protests, right? Basically, the people of Portland put the federal agents on the defensive. The greatest thing I've maybe ever seen was there were so many wonderful waves of resistance, and then finally they got the suburbanites to come out. So all the moms came out first, and then the dads. And I saw this TikTok of a bunch of dads with leaf blowers literally creating a funnel cloud out of tear gas, because they were not effortlessly, but very successfully countering the federal forces in Portland. Okay? So I just want to say, look at what can happen when we expand the number of people that are partaking in this movement towards change, right? It shouldn't just be those who are suffering the most that are fighting the hardest for this, okay? So this almost feels to me like a breather between waves of protests. I'm being perfectly honest with you guys. That's what I feel like. That doesn't mean the protesting is over right now, but this almost feels like a downswing before a second wave of, there will be a second wave of coronavirus, but there will be a second wave of protests as well. And so this is a time to ask, in what ways have past efforts towards liberation and revolution been limited? And another way in which they may have been limited is when it comes to our sense of self-worth. What future do we really deserve? It's a lot better of a future than the one that we've been asking for. Okay? So, that was a big energy that had to come through. I hope you guys appreciate what's really coming through in that message. This burst of energy that we're getting with this fire trine today that's kind of just coming along with this Leo new moon is short-lived, all right? September is definitely going to be a different energy. We're going to start off with a Pisces full moon. Those are always pretty intense, at least for people like myself who are empathic or intuitive. And then on the 9th of September, Mars will be going retrograde. It's like the one planet who sat out summer retrograde season. The good news is that Jupiter and Saturn will be going direct in September and begin moving back towards Aquarius. Well, they will meet up on the solstice on December 21st. They will meet up in just, I believe, the first degree of Aquarius. That is going to be a good time for the revolution. It might be a scary time. I'm just letting you guys know. Changes are afoot. I also want to say that Pluto is going to be going direct in October. So there's definitely a lot of the heavy energies that we've been under all year long, all summer long, are beginning to loosen up. But I will tell you, we still have those outer planets in those last degrees of Capricorn. And I've said it before, but it's worth reminding anybody who's interested that those are, that 27th degree of Capricorn is where the United States of America will be experiencing a Pluto return. That's going to be in February 2022. A Pluto return only happens to countries and institutions because it takes about 283 years to happen. So it doesn't happen to people, right? But looking at past institutions that have had to go through a Pluto return, it really is a bit of a judgment day. And the reason I say that is I got an image of the judgment card, and the judgment card in the tarot is associated with the planet Pluto. It's about death and resurrection. It's about calling to life things that have long been dormant. So over the next 2 years, especially here in the United States of America, those energies will be at play. And I have a really big feeling that the energies that are going on under the surface, up in the sky, so to speak, right now, are going to end up playing a very, very, very significant role in how the rest of 2020 and how 2021 end up playing out. So, as always, you guys, I hope that you are staying healthy, happy, and hopeful. I know that's hard to do, but please remember that what you focus your thoughts on every single day is what you're helping to create. So just imagine the beautiful new Aquarian world that we are building for ourselves. It has already begun, my friends. All right? So rest up, take good care of yourselves, and I'll talk to you guys next month. Take care.